California, 1960. The town of Canafinia is so quiet that anything unusual quickly becomes the morning topic at the local cafe. And that morning, the police station receives a call from Willow Lane. The caller is Mrs. Marjorie Lane, who lives in the house right next door to number 17. Her voice trembles over the line. "Last night I heard noises, like someone being shoved outside the house next door. This morning I saw footprints, drag marks. It looked like a fight." Sergeant Harold Mason has been on the force for nearly 20 years. He knows this well. Most calls like these lead to nothing. A cat, the wind, an anxious mind in the middle of the night. But some calls are the last warning before things go too far. Mason and Pete Nolan arrive at Willow Lane at 6:40 a.m. Cold wind moves down the street. The pavement is still damp with dew. Outside number 17, what they see makes them stop. Footprints overlapping, as if several people had stood close to the door. A patch of ground torn up, leaving a long mark, like someone slipped or was dragged. And beneath the front step, a small object catches the light. Pete bends down and picks it up. A metal keychain, engraved with 2 letters. D.H. Mason says nothing. He looks up at the house. Curtains pulled askew, lights off. A silence so complete it feels as if no one ever lived there. He knocks. No answer. Knocks again. Still nothing. Pete whispers, "Maybe she's not home?" Mason replies, eyes fixed on the door. If she left, she wouldn't leave the house like this. He tries the handle. Locked. They call out, "Police!" No response. No one likes breaking into someone else's home, but there are moments when responsibility doesn't allow you to stand outside any longer. Sergeant Mason tries the doorknob. It's still locked. He looks at Pete. They both step back. No one wants to break into someone else's home without certainty, but the marks on the doorstep and the prolonged silence are enough to turn routine into act now. The door is forced open with a specialized tool. The hinges creak softly. Cold air spills out from inside, as if the house has been sealed shut since the night before. They step into the living room and stop. Everything is disturbed. A table lamp tilted, several objects scattered across the floor, the rug pulled out of place, and on the leather couch, dark red stains dried into the surface. Pete moves forward instinctively, but Mason raises a hand. "Careful," he says quietly. "We don't know if anyone else is inside." They call out, "Police! Is anyone home?" No response, only the steady ticking of a wall clock. That ticking sounds like a countdown. They clear the house, room by room. Kitchen, empty. Bedroom, vacant. On the kitchen table, a half-finished glass, as if someone took a sip and stood up. The water inside has long gone cold. At the end of the hallway, the bathroom door stands ajar. Mason pushes it open, and in that moment, both men freeze. Inside the bathtub lies a woman around 30 years old, motionless. No years of experience are needed to understand. She is no longer alive. Pete turns away on instinct. Mason pulls his radio, his voice dropping. "Call it in. We have a victim." The quiet of Canafinia has been broken. The victim is identified as Evelyn Carter, a postal worker, living alone, recently separated from her boyfriend a few months earlier. Neighbors remember her for her polite smile and her routine of watering the plants on her front porch every afternoon. Now that house is sealed off. Police tape blocks the entrance. The once quiet street has fallen into an unnatural stillness. The town's forensic investigator, Dr. Leonard Briggs, arrives shortly after. He doesn't say much. He simply observes. But some things the scene makes clear without words. The confrontation began outside the front door. Inside the house, there are signs of a struggle or someone searching through the space, and the victim did not have enough time to call for help before it was over. Sergeant Mason goes door to door, speaking with neighbors. The caller is Mrs. Marjorie Lane, who lives across the street. Her voice still shakes as she recalls, "Close to midnight, I heard noises, like furniture being knocked over. Then a door slammed shut. I thought it was just an argument. In a town like this, you don't expect something terrible." Mason writes it down. Then he asks the most important question. "Did you see anyone coming or going from Evelyn's house that night?" Mrs. Lane hesitates. I saw a man standing near the fence. I couldn't see his face, but he was tall, wearing a hat, standing like he was waiting. Standing like he was waiting. The phrase sends a chill through Mason. Because the most dangerous people don't run, they wait. Police examine Evelyn's notebook. Among work notes and small reminders, one name stands out. Crossed out, then written again multiple times. Daniel Hargrove, her ex-boyfriend. Danny works as a mechanic at a shop near the train station. In Canafinia, everyone knows him. Smooth talker, quick smile, and unable to accept rejection. According to Evelyn's friends, the relationship ended because Danny held on too tightly. He wanted to know where Evelyn was, what she was doing, who she was seeing. At first, the questions sounded like concern. Over time, they became control. Mason goes to the repair shop. Danny stands behind the counter, hands stained with grease. He looks up as the officers enter. No panic, no surprise. As if he had expected this moment. What's going on, Sergeant? Mason watches him closely. Danny is too calm. Willow Lane? Evelyn Carter. You knew her? Danny swallows slightly. Yes, we used to be together. Mason asks slowly, where were you last night? Danny answers almost instantly. Too fast. At home. Alone. I went to bed early. A perfect answer. Too perfect. Mason doesn't accuse him. He simply nods. Would you be willing to come down to the station for some routine verification? Danny meets his gaze. Of course. And that's what makes Pete uneasy. Danny behaves like a cooperative man, but his eyes look like they're calculating. At the station, Danny recounts the breakup in a way that sounds clean. She just needed time. I respected that. I didn't do anything wrong. Calm voice, relaxed posture, as if this were a casual conversation. Mason asks, have you been to Willow Lane recently? Danny smiles faintly. No. No hesitation, no pause. The police do what they do best. Test the truth using things that don't lie. Other people and time. They speak with the grocery store owner near the repair shop. She remembers clearly. Last night, around 10, Danny came in for cigarettes. He seemed irritated. They talked to the train station attendant. He recalls. Around 11:30, I saw a man wearing a hat near Willow Lane. I thought it was Danny. The build was the same, but the most important detail had been there from the beginning. The keychain found outside Evelyn's house. Mason holds it inside an evidence bag. A small piece of metal, engraved with 2 letters. D.H. Danny Hargrove. Not proof of guilt, not yet, but an unavoidable question. Why was Danny's keychain outside Evelyn's door on the night of the altercation? Mason places the keychain in front of Danny. For a brief second, Danny's smile disappears. Is this yours? Danny looks, then says, maybe. I could have dropped it earlier. I used to go there. Mason continues, his voice steady. You just said you haven't been to Willow Lane recently. Danny goes quiet, only a few seconds, but long enough for Pete to understand they've just touched a crack. Danny corrects himself. I mean, not last night. Mason nods as if nothing has changed, but in his mind, everything has. The lie has shifted shape, and that's when it begins to collapse. The police don't force a confession. They don't need to. They only need to give Danny enough time to get caught inside his own story. The interrogation room is so quiet that the faint buzz of the fluorescent light fills the air. Danny sits upright, hands resting on the table. No handcuffs. For now, he still feels in control. Mason doesn't rush. He flips a page in the case file, then stops. Danny, he says slowly, do you know what makes you different from most people? Danny looks up, his eyes sharpen. Mason continues, not looking at him. It's not that you loved her. Everyone loves. It's that you believed love gave you permission to ignore boundaries. A pause. Danny clenches his hands. His knuckles turn white, but he doesn't lash out. No anger, no denial, just exhaustion. She left me, Danny says quietly. She acted like I didn't exist. Mason raises his eyes. And you followed her. The words land heavy. Danny snaps back immediately. I just wanted to talk. Louder, faster, emotion finally breaking through. From the corner of the room, Pete can see it clearly. The truth isn't surfacing through details. It's surfacing through emotion. Mason leans forward. You wanted to talk, he repeats, but you showed up late at night. You waited outside. You didn't call ahead. Is that what you call talking? Danny opens his mouth, then stops. Silence stretches. Mason asks the final question. No raised voice, no threat. Just slow enough for every word to sink in. Last night, did you go to Willow Lane to talk? Or to make sure Evelyn couldn't live the life she chose? The room freezes. Danny lowers his head. His chest rises and falls. A long breath escapes. Not the breath of grief, but the breath of someone who has been holding on for far too long and finally can't keep the mask on. I didn't want, he whispers, for it to go that far. It's not a full confession, no clear admission, but Mason knows, Pete knows. This moment is enough. Danny is no longer outside the story. From here on, the case doesn't need drama, only facts, shifting statements, witnesses who saw him waiting, the keychain at the door, marks on the ground, silences that can't be explained. The file is closed. Danny is placed under arrest. When the handcuffs click shut, there's no resistance, no shouting, no pleading. He just stares at the floor. Some people turn back because conscience awakens. Others call it regret, only when they finally realize there is nowhere left to run. Evelyn Carter died in a town that once believed it was safe, and after that night, Canaffinia never slept the same way again. People began to lock their doors. They began to linger longer on silhouettes standing at street corners. They began to accept an uncomfortable truth. Danger doesn't always come from strangers. Sometimes it comes from someone who once said they loved you, someone who once held your hand, someone who once promised to protect you. But when rejected, they refuse to accept a simple reality. Love is not ownership. This case left behind a lesson that could not be ignored. Boundaries must be respected, even in love. Following, watching, controlling are never acts of care. And the small sign, the strange noises, the figure waiting outside a door, are not always harmless. There are tragedies that, if someone had looked more closely, more seriously, might never have happened. But real life has no rewind button, only consequences. And in Canaffinia, after that night, one truth remained etched in memory. Normal does not always mean safe.